Glasser Live. I welcome guests from all across the globe who entertain us, wow us, and excite us. And today will be no exception. So whether you are here live or on replay, make sure to say hi in the comments. Today's show is brought to you by Hasmark Publishing International, your #1 co-publishing company in the world who service authors on a global scale. Today, I am welcoming Ann Collins to the show. Ann's education is from life and from the Ohio State University. She has professional experience in management, sales, marketing, development, and Indiana politics. In fact, in 2016, Ann ran for the Monroe County, Indiana treasurer. Ann enjoys writing, however, it doesn't come easy. Her book began as a journaling exercise towards healing when she lost her campaign. Ann knows that the power of writing has given her hope through loss, and she encourages her readers to engage in journaling as a way to express subconscious feelings and ultimately work through the difficult spots in their lives. Recently married, and I mean recently, like a month ago, she now has 7 adult children and 4 grandchildren. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Ann.
Hi, everyone.
So 1 month ago, you got married and you now have lots of kids. You have a wonderful hubby who I know is sitting right there with you. So we just say hi to Barry. I'm glad that you're here with support for Ann. Today, our conversation is on your book, Hope, Loss, enCourage. I love the name, and I love how you actually named the book about what you went through in order to get through that situation of not winning the election. So first, let's just start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you came to be here today.
Well, like you said in the introduction, I've done a lot of different things, kind of a Jill of all trades, an expert of none. But I've always been a very people person, and I love to encourage people. I love to motivate them, help them, and that's where the writing and the book came from. And writing is new to me, but I so enjoy it. So especially when you see that face on someone, that smile or eye contact, that they make a difference.
And it's always fun to also see your book in the bookstore or online, right? You can say, I'm a published author, which is great. So I normally like to ask my authors, how long have you been writing? But clearly you have not been writing that long. In fact, this is your first book and it just came out. So how long ago did you start on this?
Well, I started thinking about writing, I should say thinking, after the election. In 2016, it took me a while. Like I mentioned in the book, there was a loss there that I had to kind of work through. But when I started to think about what I went through and how I learned a different way of just trying to look at myself more positively, I knew other people could use that too.
So let's talk about what the book is about. What will people read when they open up your book? And the inspiration I know is from the election, but I'm sure it wasn't just the election. You pulled from all facets of your life. So what's the book about?
The book is about a struggle and maybe something that you just know you are going to win, you're going to do great, and then you don't. Your face. And that's what the book's about, and how I learned to look not at the actual falling on the face, but to actually look at all of the experiences that led to that day where I fell on my face. And that's how I figured out each one of those experiences actually was a win, because I met somebody, I encouraged somebody, I learned something, all kinds of things.
And I think the message, because you've said it now several times already in the short time that we've been talking, you fell on your face. You fell on your face. So would it be fair to say that the message in the book is, even if you fall on your face,
yes,
there is hope, and there is a way to come out of that? Is that your inspiration, is to be able to help people?
Yes, it is, because I think obviously the older you get and the more experiences you go through, you realize that experiences are very valuable, whether they were pleasant or not, because you've met somebody, you've learned something, you've experienced an emotion, and all that stuff is for us to grow and to learn. And I just want to help people kind of look at the positive side of some of the things that aren't so positive.
And I think that's so important in every day and every time, but especially in this time. I think that's so important. You say that winning is finding the wins in everything you considered a defeat and using these to move forward. Would this be a good example?
Yes. And I think my book is not a political book, but I think it's actually would be a good encourager, just because of, you know, life in general, the world with COVID. We have to kind of look at things differently and find the value.
We do. I'm getting a message that somebody's saying the timing on the video is way off. I'm going to ask you to do something right now, Anne. It's going to sound really bizarre, but right next to where you put the URL in, there's a little way to refresh your browser. Can you go ahead and just refresh the browser? Do you see that little circle to the side of the URL? Because I have a feeling that, and I'm going to do the same thing. So Buck, thanks for letting us know. We're going to go in and come out. So did you find that refresher? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I refreshed it. Yeah. I think
Well,
it's still working.
It would take you out of the show. So here we go. We're going to go, and I'll be right back. Here we go. And we're back. So we have somebody who's watching, and Buck was saying that the timing was off, and I'm not. And now we just lost Anne. So I'm going to wait for her to come back in, and here she is. Anne, you're going to have to turn your camera back on. And she's back. Here we go. All right. So hopefully the timing is better on this. So we were talking about using our wins to take care of the defeats, right? That winning is finding the wins in everything that we considered a defeat. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Anne Collins about her book, Hope, Loss, enCourage. So obviously, we've already talked about hope, loss, and encourage. Is that where did you come up with this title? It's a really great title.
Well, thank you. I think we all need a little hope, and the word loss is because every human being on the face of this earth is going to go through a loss. You can't get through life without it. And encourage, with the emphasis on courage, because you need to encourage others based on what you've learned in life, but also sometimes it takes a lot of courage to stand up and keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you hope your readers are going to take away from this book?
Well, I think it's more than just an interesting read. It's a short read. I think there's some humor into it. So it's a fun read. But I hope they can see throughout the book the process of, you know, and it could have been something that happened a week ago or 5 years ago, but how you can actually process that experience in your mindset and look at that loss or failure or mistake and actually find a win in it.
So you say, I am only one, but I am one. What does that mean?
Well, I think a lot of us use I am only one person and use that as an excuse. Well, I can't cure cancer, or I can't feed the entire world, so I shouldn't do anything because it doesn't matter.
Right.
but it really does, because I can influence one person, feed one person, help one person, and that changes the world.
It does. It really does. And it sounds like that's something that's really important to you, that you do want to change the world. So the question begs to be asked, are you going to run for office again?
No.
And I hear your husband in the background. No, not going to do that at all.
I ran in 2016, and then I ran again in 2018 for another position, and I lost that one also. So I think I will just add to the world and the environment a different way.
Hey, that's fair. That's totally fair. If you're tuning in and you want to know a little bit more about this book, Hope, Loss, enCourage, that is the name of the book. You can see it on the screen. And I've just put a link to the book in the comments for you to go pick up a copy, because I think that this is really, first of all, I love the subtitle, Scenes from Life's Wins. That's exactly what you're talking about. And I think this is important for all of us. I don't think that there's a single person on this planet that has not had a defeat in something. And I think the trick is to figure out how to turn it around and make it a win. And it sounds like that is exactly what you have done with this book. Why do you do what you do? I mean, why did you run for office? Why did you I know why you decided to write a book. It took you through your journey, but why are you doing what you're doing? And are you going to write another book?
Yes. It's actually about done. So book number 2 will be out soon.
Congratulations.
I do what I do because we're all on this earth for a short period of time, and I want to make that time memorable. I want to help others. If I can encourage people, that makes me feel good, and then I know my life made a difference.
So is writing books for everyone? What would you tell someone if they'd said, I had this thing going on and I think this makes sense for me, I'm going to write a book? What would you tell somebody who wants to go write a book?
I'd say get started and do it for several reasons. Through journaling and writing this first book, that's what showed me that writing is powerful. And I don't think, or at least I didn't know before I did this, writing is very powerful, emotional, mental.
Cathartic, maybe?
Yes. And it's actually somewhat physical. I've noticed when I've gone back into my journals, you could actually see how hard I was writing, usually when I was upset or angry about something. But you literally can see the difference of the pressure of the pen on those journals. So if you want to write a book, get started now, because it may take 6 weeks, it may take 6 years, but it's valuable time for yourself, because you are very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think that's great. I think it's great. Before the show went live, I said to you, do you have a superpower? And I grabbed my little, Wonder Woman, and my superpower is I'm fearless. I will do almost anything. Just ask. What's your superpower?
So you cut out just a little bit, but I would say my superpower is to encourage. And that's not only encouraging myself, that's encouraging others and doing all I can that way.
So Buck says, nice twist to the title. He loved the title. One of the hardest things is to find the courage to move forward after any type of loss. Thank you, Buck.
Yes.
Thank you for the comment. Would you agree?
Yes. Because as I say in the book, there was a short time where I didn't want to come out.
I'm sure. I've never run for office. I've never done any of that kind of stuff. But there have been times, I'm a singer, where I've done something and afterwards it's like it was no good. It was not good. But you have to find a way to come back out of it, and you have to find a way to just put that smile and and move forward, right? And do it again, get back on. So you did run again, but instead of running a third time now, you're just going to keep writing those books, which I think is awesome. For those of you who are wondering how to stay in touch with Anne, we're going to give you some places to go because she's everywhere. You can go visit Anne on her website at author.anncollins.com. She's also on Facebook, and you can find her on Facebook at Author Anne Collins. And she's also on YouTube at Anne Collins. Imagine that. And on Instagram, you can also find her there at Author Anne Collins. And finally on LinkedIn, if you go to LinkedIn, it's Anne-Collins. So what's one tip that you can share that comes out of your life that has really made a difference in your life that you can share with our audience? What's a tip you can share?
The one tip I would tell people is to take that time with themselves personally. Doesn't have to be a quiet space. Don't be closing your eyes while you're driving, but I think it's mentally and emotionally important. And as the mindset, you can look at something that didn't work out and really find the value in it. And then life is a little different because I've fallen on my face so many times now that I'm really not afraid of it anymore.
Interesting. And is that what you think will happen when people just kind of, step into that and step into their wins from their defeats?
Yes. I mean, even like a bad day at the shop, I will maybe not be in the best mood, but I will look at that day and say, this is an experience. I am going to meet someone. I am learning something. And so it just makes it easier to get through the day happy, and just know that there is a win from every day.
I love that. Again, I'm going to put the book right back into the screen one more time so people can go get a copy of it. Hope, Loss, enCourage, Scenes from Life's Wins by Anne Collins. The link is sitting in the comment area right now, so you can go take a look at it over there. I want to again thank Hasmark Publishing International for sponsoring us today. They are awesome. We just love them over there. And I want to thank them for introducing me to you because I have not yet read the book. I have it on order actually, and it's on its way to me. So I can't wait to dive into the book. Any last minute thoughts you want to share with everyone before we say goodbye?
Just step back and look at your life and find the beauty in it, because it's there.
It is definitely there. I want to thank our guest, Anne, for being on the show today. We really appreciate you taking the time. I was laughing. It looks beautiful out there. It looks cold where you are, and I'm sitting sleeveless top, in 110 degree weather. It's amazing what a couple hundred miles, 1,000 miles. Right? And I want to thank our audience, because you guys have a choice as to where you spend your time, and you chose to spend it with us today. I am eternally grateful, as I know Anne is, and we hope that you come back and join us on the next episode of